Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. Um, if you came here to say that, let me redo that, re-say that. If you came here to celebrate the killing of another quarterback, I just want to say that I had said a long time ago that Locke would not work out on this team, that no quarterback was going to work out on this team. So if you came here to do a dance and think that killing another quarterback, going in the draft and getting is going to make a difference, you came to the wrong channel. We were totally 100% correct on this game. We said it was going to be a blowout. Everybody else said, "Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. It's going to be close." And it's not because Drew Lock threw some interceptions. The special teams put him in a hole right off the bat and couldn't do anything right to begin with. So let us put it this way: you go out and get another quarterback. You're putting him on a team that has a crappy special team, has crappy player personnel. They can't protect the quarterback. Before Drew Lock was throwing his second interception, they just damn near got him killed and taken out of the game. And while you may celebrate that, it's not going to help you. Okay, you cannot bring a quarterback to this team and expect anything to happen. This is a very, very bad football team. It's a very bad organization, and it all starts at the top. All this, if you notice, the Raiders weren't, really even playing, really even trying in this game, and they still beat the Broncos, crush them. Uh, you know, you have Gordon dropping balls, receivers that dropping balls. You have lazy route running in the end zone by Judy. I want to point that out. It wasn't all on Lock, and you've got a lot of problems. If you want to listen to Orlando Franco go on and on, see, I told you Drew Lock was bad. Say, well, what's your solution? I don't care who you bring in. The Broncos cannot keep free runners going at quarterbacks. This has been a problem that's been going on for a couple of seasons now, at least, the free runners. We've had people that have analyzed the games last year, and said there's too many free runners that have nothing to do with the Broncos, by the way, that said there's too many free runners coming at the quarterback. So you have we said that the Raiders would run the football with success. That did happen. Everything that we said would happen happened exactly the way we said it would happen. Now you can go and go to your feel goods and just say it's all Drew Lock, wrap yourself up in it's all Drew Lock. And what is that going to get you? Is it going to address special teams? Is it going to address not only just the offensive line, but pass block scheming? I've got video, and I want to show where pass block scheming broke down. It wasn't just the offensive line. The offense, Shermer schemes, they just know how to pick the offense apart. Defensively, they know how to pick the offense apart every time, every team. So I don't want to hear about it's all on Lock or whatever quarterback you're going to get next week. Okay, this team is far beyond, its problems are far beyond the quarterback position. So, we called this game right from the very beginning. So with that, I know you're, and by the way, I'm not, like I said, from the very beginning, I said that Locke was going to be buried by the Denver Broncos. So this isn't a big surprise to me. I called it before anybody else did, not because of Locke, because this is a bad organization that kills quarterback. Now, Colby here is just chomping at the bit to go off on this organization. So why don't you go ahead and
Okay.
lay it up?
I'm going to compose myself because during the game I was really upset, as you well know. The reason I'm so upset is I see teams. We've been right basically since the beginning of the season.
Yeah, hold on. That's why I don't understand where you're upset, because everything we saw, we said was going to happen.
You know why I'm upset? Because this is not the Denver Broncos that I grew up watching when Pat Bowlen was still in charge. That's why I'm so upset. It's not because of the product. Well, it is the product on the field, but it's the way that this team plays and the stupid mental errors that under a Pat Bowlen regime would have never happened. That's number one. Number two, if you're going to blame Drew Lock for this. He needs to get better at reading the field. And I'm not going to sit here and be a Drew Lock homer like all the other guys are. I believe in Drew Lock. But just go back and watch him on his ass this whole game, like I said would happen. And if you say that, he was stepping back too long, just go look at the back of his jersey. It was green all over the place. He was hurt.
Well,
He's hurt.
well,
He's hurt.
the thing is he almost they almost took him out of the game because again the pass blocking schemes allowed so many free runners and free shots at the quarterback. And here's the thing. This is the thing I've noticed that nobody else seems to get, like the Orlando Franklins of the world. How is it that Locke can do so good once the pass rush isn't there, yet they're dropping players back in coverage? If the Broncos could, matter of fact, I could show you play by play on what Carr has working for him versus what Drew Lock doesn't have working for him. Carr would have had the same problems. Maybe he wouldn't throw the interceptions, but he wouldn't have had any success because you can't have free runners coming at the quarterback. You just can't. And this team habitually has a problem with free runners coming after the quarterback. They still, after 2 years, haven't solved that problem. Go ahead.
And they're still having a problem with running the freaking ball.
There's no pass block, or there's no run blocking now.
There is no run blocking, and Melvin Gordon again just showed you what we've been talking about since he's been brought here, or since that he came here for the money. But that being said, he drops a pass. I saw one pass block, but
he dropped more than one pass.
He dropped more than one pass.
Dropped more than one pass. So he dropped a few passes.
And this offensive line. How many times are we going to sit up here and tell you guys that this offensive line is the worst offensive line in football? Even with all 5 guys that are healthy, they're the worst offensive line in the National Football League. Oh, but you can't win games off the offensive line. I've been hearing that, it's the quarterback that starts everything. It's the quarterback that runs the team. You see the teams that are good in the National Football League that have good offensive lines. Look at Pittsburgh, they're 8-0. Look at Kansas City, they're 7-1, 8-1, whatever. Look at the top tier teams in the National Football League. They have good offensive lines. This team sucks.
Well, hold on. It's not just good offensive line. They have good pass pro scheming. That way you don't bring in free runners. We showed you footage where our opposition leaves running backs, halfbacks, or tight ends in behind so that they can pick up these free runners. The Broncos refuse to do that. They're getting their held. And maybe that's what the Bronco fans want, is to get the quarterback killed to bring in, number 4, something like that. They just don't get it. If you remember what people were saying about calling the blitz. I want to talk about calling the blitz. You got teams that have marginal offensive line. We'll say middle of the road offensive lines, okay? And you got a veteran quarterback, right? Yes. In these kind of situations, you call the blitz because they're not coming every time with that. They can pick up the blitz because they know that whatever the sequence is of the sequential plays, that's a blitz coming in. Well, when you're a young quarterback and you know a blitz is coming every play, what is there to call? You know that you're going to be getting hit on every single play. There is no calling the blitz. That's the disconnect with these people are. There is no calling the blitz for this team. They're not good enough to prevent the free runners in.
But there's also a disconnect that Garrett Bowles again. I mean, I watched the all 22 film. I'm not stupid. And what I said, go watch that pregame. It happened. He watched film. I watched film. It was exactly what we thought would happen. It was going to go one or two ways. Pat Shurmur, another 3-and-out game that I've been saying for weeks. He's a 3-and-out machine. He's not creative. He's not creative enough in a smart way to blocking scheme. I have to call it Mike Munchak because where's he at? We brought him in because he's this great offensive line coach. But we had to focus on Garrett Bowles because you guys Elway wanted to prove everybody right that Garrett Bowles is a top tier left tackle. And oh my gosh, you saw it in the game today. He was getting his quarterback killed. The right tackle Calvin Anderson There's a reason why he's a third string right tackle is because he
Yeah,
can't play.
he was horrible in that game. But you see, this is my point.
Graham Glasgow. Oh,
Yeah, again, exactly. Yes, yeah, and that's a 4-year deal on that guy. That's where the problem really lies. You see, the Raiders are down on uh, they're down in their offensive line in numbers, and yet, they're still good enough to be better than our starting offensive line. That is really that's only where we're talking about that. I'm not again the defensive line is an issue. We saw the running game. Their Josie Jewell 44. Go look at his stats compared to Jewell. Okay, we haven't even got into the special teams and how what a night player personnel. There is no player personnel on special teams. It's one of the worst special teams in football. And special teams, who again, you want to talk about your 8-1 teams? They have good special teams. That comes down to player personnel. It's not just the coaching. It's player personnel. They don't have either the coaching or the player personnel. So you can go and get a quarterback. You want to, and that's what's going to happen. All you're going to hear about is the quarterback. And let's put our blinders on, okay, that there are no other problems on this team. Bringing in a quarterback isn't going to change anything. It's still a crappy organization with yet another quarterback that we're going to bury. So I don't know how many quarterbacks we got to fill in the cemetery of quarterbacks before the rest of the fans realize that what we're saying. We just have to go through this really every game because we said we're going to have to endure this until the 2022-2023 era, about that time. When the NFL knocks on the Broncos' door and say, you got to either put up or shut up, you got to sell the team. Or you got to have one of the Bolins run it. That's what this is going to all come down to.
I also want to bring up another point, and this is just what you're saying. You're dead on. Agreed. Agreed. Let me just bring up Jerry Jeudy just for a split second, okay? And I want to bring this up to Broncos fans. I love Jerry Jeudy. Don't get me wrong. He is a competitor. He is a guy. He could be a leader for this offense. But what I'm starting to see out of Jerry Jeudy is if he doesn't get his targets early, he becomes an Odell Beckham clone. And he gives up on routes.
Yep.
He gives up, and he's not competitive. And I'm not saying that Jerry Jeudy is going to be Odell Beckham, but he has a little bit of an attitude when it comes to that. He quits on the team. He quit. He quit today. Okay. He quit on his routes, and maybe
that's what I noticed on that second lock interception in the end zone. That remember
2-point conversion.
Were you listening to any of my podcasts when I was on Cortland Sutton's ass? When it was last year's training camp. I was like laying into Cortland Sutton about getting him off his ass because he was running lazy routes, and it was obvious. And finally, our number 10 back there, Sanders got on his ass too.
That's when they got in a fight.
That's when they got in a fight. But before that, I was just on Cortland Sutton the whole time about, you're running lazy routes, dude. I played corner. I know what a lazy route is. It's like, are we out here as jogging partners? What I saw in that second interception was totally on Jeudy. That ball was thrown where it should have been had Jeudy not, ran that route the way he did. He just really lacklusterly was running it. The guy sat on. If you're a good receiver, and I understand he's a rookie. If you're a good receiver, you can see when a corner's sitting on a route, and you already know the play in your head, and you should know how to cut that defender off of that ball. You should know where that ball is supposed to be, and that ball was thrown where it should be. And if you see, he backed off on his route. He definitely backed out on his route.
Can I expand on that? All the talk that we heard coming out of college from Jerry Jeudy that he's this all-world generational route runner. Everybody was bringing that up. Now, it's one game, and I'm not going to get on Jerry Jeudy, but when you're not getting the target, it's not just about you, my dude. It's not about you. Okay, it's about the team. It's not about your stats. It's about winning the freaking game. Okay, and see, that's the problem I'm having with this team. Is that I think a lot. Okay. Whatever you say about Vic Fangio, he kept us in the game to the third quarter. It's the reality of the situation. But has this team
with
checked
very
out?
little
Yes.
with very little to work with.
With
Callahan
very little to work with. But
Callahan
has this
really
team
kept
checked
that.
out?
Yeah, Callahan kept that from getting a blowout from the beginning.
But has this team checked out? I believe this team is checked out, and that's sad to say. The offense has. I think the defense still has fight in them. They do on a weekly basis, for Christ's sake. Like, seriously, I have to sit up here and explain to Broncos country because they're so stupid. The feel-gooders are so stupid to wanting to get rid of Vic Fangio. Yet he has two middle linebackers who can't tackle, who get blown off the freaking line of scrimmage. And you're telling me that these guys are better than they were last year. Okay, go back and watch the film and look how many times Josie Jewell got burnt. Look at the middle. Okay, the Devontae Booker touchdown run right up the freaking middle, and look at Alexander Johnson trying to arm tackle him.
Yeah, Booker.
Big F you to Elway, by the way. Another guy that's playing well.
That's the crux of it. People are going to get into this whole quarterback thing, and they're not going to pay any attention. So they're going to praise Josie Jewell as if he's like somebody that,
he's the next Luke Kuechly.
Yeah, I know. And this is the deal. You're going to hear this. We're going to see this thing take off. From here on, it's going to be launching point to grabbing a new quarterback. That's all they're going to talk about.
It's already started.
Oh, I'm assuming it has. Yeah,
it has.
Okay. They're going to have to go up and get Fields. They probably won't get Lawrence, so they have to do everything, give up every draft pick to get, Yes. And the Fields will be ruined too.
I'm not even high on Fields.
Now, this is what cooler heads prevailing. Here's what cooler heads prevailing. Let's take a look at all the injuries, okay? And what Elway should do is stick with Locke, whether the fans want that or not. You got to forget all the talk that's going on.
Shermer.
Yeah. Well, like I said, so we're what Locke does, if by firing Locke basically is making giving Shermer life. It gives Shermer life. See, Elway knows nobody else is going to come in here. We said Fisher. We said Haley.
Hugh Jackson.
Yeah, yes. That's all he can get in here. He's not going to get anybody in here. Okay. And again, they'll be talking about quarterbacks. We're going to be talking about what really, really matters. Now, if cooler heads prevail, they would start getting the offensive line retooled. They would get the defensive line retooled. They would work on bringing in linebacking, getting linebacking retooled. Get everybody healthy, right? Say chalk it up to we're a banged up team. Let's instead of giving up player personnel, let's not give up player personnel, and let's start going out, getting rid of, cleaning house on the Josie Jewells, right? Cleaning house.
Johnsons.
Well, but even go to the special teams and clear out a lot of people at special teams. Open up the roster to better have John Elway walk away from any kind of player personnel decisions. In my opinion, that really should be what this video should be about.
Okay.
Take Elway away from player personnel, especially a quarterback. And have Fangio, not Shermer, have Fangio figure out what players to bring in,
Because he obviously has a clue.
Well, I know they can't do this, but if they, maybe even Munchak, if they could have Munchak, like Munchak figuring offensive player personnel. I just don't trust Shermer.
Oh, okay, so I don't want to say this nicely to the field gooders. Like, okay, This game is a perfect example of, okay, so look what the Raiders did. They cleaned house, and they did it the smart way. They're building their team from the inside out. And you can laugh at their draft picks all you want, but they're obviously freaking working. You can laugh at the draft picks. You can laugh at their team all you want. But I give kudos to Gruden, Mayock, and that whole Raider organization and player
Well,
personnel.
I think it's a start. I think it's a start. I think that's the organization. I think they have hope. They have hope if
they obviously have hope.
They have hope. And you know, these same quarterbacks that are the same quarterbacks, these same feel-good fans, the Orlando Franklins of the world, who it's all Locke, it couldn't be anything else but Locke. They all said that Carr was washed up. They should get rid of Carr. The Raiders should get another quarterback.
Of course they said that.
Okay. Obviously, that worked out. They didn't do that. They started working on player personnel. These people cannot see the forest from the trees. You know, I don't. You know, like I said, I don't have a love lost for Locke either way. What my point with Locke is, I want to see some stability. You know, I say if Locke turns out to be a bum, shame on you. Not shame on him, shame on you, the organization. Okay, why is he throwing picks all over the place? Because he thinks he's going to, and he has every right to think, he's going to have his head taken off. And what did everybody want? Open it up, open it up, open it up. Upbeat tempo, upbeat. Okay, well, you got what you wanted. What did we say? Take what the defense gives you calm. Okay, we said cooler heads prevail.
Run the football.
Let's do what Carr did in this game. Let the defense give what he did go after Callahan. So it wasn't like they weren't trying. But they didn't really come after Carr. Carr wasn't really under any duress, really. Not like our quarterback.
Can I say this? And I'm gonna bounce off the point that you made just a few seconds ago about how the Raiders and how they're saying Derek Carr's washed up. Okay, they did it like any other team would. Okay, so what I mean by this is they didn't have the Chiefs did it. They built up the player personnel so great that Patrick Mahomes, this really good quarterback coming out of college, and the Raiders will probably do the same. They'll move off Derek Carr, but they'll implement a good quarterback who will thrive in that system because of the player personnel development that they have brought in and surrounded that quarterback, and he can take off, and his production will have a step forward with all the other quarterbacks that go to bad teams struggle with, just like Drew Lock, for example. That's the way you're supposed to build an NFL franchise. The Patriots did it for years. The Steelers have done it for years. The Seahawks have done it for years. The Cowboys, 80s did it. The Broncos did it under Pat Bowlen. See, this is how smart franchises build an NFL football team. Okay?
Yeah. The only thing that may save John Elway is his ego. It is his ego. If John Elway gives in to the feel-gooders and the Orlando Franklins, and they go after a new quarterback, that will mean that John Elway was wrong. Now, John Elway may say, I'm writing out my contract. We'll see how we'll keep him and see how this works out. Saying that maybe, like he did with Paxton Lynch, So what I'm saying is I'm not that I'm so much a Drew Lock fan as I'm a fan more of stability. And if I understand, and I'm just going off of what you said about the other organizations, the other winning organizations, that he will bring in better player personnel. He'll at least make an attempt to bring in better player personnel.
But will those player personnel want to come here? See, that's the other problem we're going
That's
to
the other
about.
problem, yes. So it's a catch-22.
Okay, so going back, talking about this game, and I'm going to bring it to the player personnel. We're going to continue to talk about this. So I think this is a good subject that we can talk about. The feel-good fans are going to want to blame. Okay, we're going to hear from here on out. I'm going to listen to the fake news media tomorrow, and I'm gonna have to hear it. And this is gonna be funny. And I'm already going to watch the All 22 tonight about the Dolphins. Just wait till we face the Dolphins in that defense, ladies and gentlemen. It's a whole different defense than the Raiders. With that being said, I'll talk about that later. But when it comes to player personnel decisions, you bring up a great point, and you brought it up a few days ago. Who's going to want to come here? Exactly. All catch 22. Who's going to want to come here? Like you have players that are going to Las Vegas. You have players that are going to the Chargers. Oh, by the way, everybody said that Herbert was a great quarterback. Look how terrible he's doing right now. He lost the game. So see, we can sit here all we want and continue to bash this team. I go back and watch the film and I do my analysis. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, to the feel good media, you're gonna blame Locke for all this, and I blame Locke a lot of the time. Exactly, I blame Locke a lot of the time. You can go through my messages with him. I say that he needs to throw the ball better. He needs to read the defense better. But when you are constantly getting on your ass and constantly getting smacked around by a terrible offensive line, and you have an offense coordinator that is obviously not helping you, then you're going to put that all on Locke. But you feel good media won't talk about it. I've already been called out by Mile High Report, so I have something to tell them. You guys are going to watch this film, and you're going to sit here and tell me straight to my face that that's all Locke's fault. Mile High Report, how about you do your gosh dang research and look at Pat Shurmur, who runs 3 wide receiver sets, doesn't help his quarterback, and doesn't give him the opportunities to make those type of plays because he's continuing to get pressured. And you guys won't blame LA, would you? Because you guys are going to get your balls chopped off if you do.
I don't see anything but Locke. I can't see anything. But I don't see special teams being a problem. I don't see the defensive line being a problem. I don't see the offensive scheme.
I don't see the safeties being a problem. Again, Kareem Jackson not tackling. And Justin Simmons, you guys say that he's a top 5 safety? Give me a break. He's not a top 5 safety.
This is the whole thing.
God.
This team isn't going. Everything.
I don't see us winning another game.
Well, I don't know when they're going to win another game.
Do we have the Dolphins, Saints? We have the Dolphins, Saints, the Bills. The next game that we have against the winning opponent is Carolina, but we're not going to win that game because Carolina actually has good player personnel.
So you're saying we got a chance?
No, we don't have a chance.
I've been saying that's the whole thing. So the only thing they know, because they're not educated. They don't have the gray matter up there. So naturally, a quarterback is going to change everything here. It's like this. You're taking all kinds of torpedoes into the ship and it's sinking. If we just get a new engine, it'll be okay. It won't sink. So, okay, this is what I want to ask you. We're gonna go play feel good fan here for a minute.
Oh God.
Yeah, no. This is your favorite subject, but just to make a point. If the Broncos go after Fields, we'll just say, because you don't think they have a chance
Trey
for
Lance. Don't forget about him either.
Who?
Trey Lance. You brought him up this week to me.
Oh yeah, Trey. Well, anyway, that I call him sloppy thirds, but yeah. Let's go for Fields in this hypothesis here. Let's go for Fields because what would it take? What would the Broncos have to give up just to get that one guy Fields?
They just have to lose every game from here on out and go 3-13.
Okay, let's say they win 2 games. Let's say they go 5 and whatever.
They trade Von Miller.
Well, that's probably already in the works anyway.
Trading Von Miller, you probably
feel good fans will go for that. What about how many draft picks do you think you'd have to go to move up? I guess it would depend where you are, right? Let's say they win 5.
If you finish 5-11, so you win 2 games, you finish 5-11. So you're picking in the top 8? Top 8?
Well, let's even go 6. So let's just say they get lucky, they win 6 games all
so that'd be a top 10 draft order, maybe the 11th spot. So you'd have to give up probably Von Miller, your own first-round pick, and probably a second or a third to get
Oh
up.
yeah, for a number one draft next year and a second and a third for the following draft pick. So you'd have to give up all those draft picks to get to even have a chance to get Fields.
To get your Justin Fields, because Drew Lock is he is underutilized in the Pat Shurmur offense. I heard that this week. They were saying that Drew Lock is not using Pat Shurmur's offense to its full ability. You've got to be freaking kidding me. Anyway, we'll do the feel good crap. Sorry, I was going on.
I just wanted to get a feel at what they're talking. So what y'all, if you don't get rid of Locke, so that's the alternative if you want to get rid of Locke, or you can always bring in Blake Bortles. You brought up bringing in Blake Bortles.
He's already on the practice squad.
Now I was the first one on that, wasn't I? To catch that.
Yes, you were.
I see Blake Bortles. So obviously, Elway is going to have some sort of a quarterback camp.
Oh God.
Now, now what? Now that's getting Fields. Now there's sloppy thirds. There's some other quarterbacks out there, and they're in the more of the second, third round. Is there anybody out there that you could see Elway getting so that you could have a quarterback camp?
You talking about in the draft?
Yeah, so you can have one of those. Drew, we got your replacement here. We got Bortles, and we got somebody we picked up.
Wilson from Alabama.
Wilson from Alabama. Okay. He doesn't draft people from Alabama. So the Gators. The Gators have a quarterback.
Elway has Judy. He's from Alabama.
Oh yeah, well he's got one guy. Yeah, he doesn't like.
Can I say this? Okay, so let's talk about if they keep Drew Lock. Let's just be honest and here, because I want to talk about if they're gonna have to do it. Okay. If you move out Drew Lock, you're the dumbest organization I've ever seen in my life.
I think that Elway's ego won't let him do that.
I think that's going to be the case. So this is what you do. This is what you do, and this is how I would do it. I don't know if Elway would do it because he's the Al Davis clone. Okay, so you get rid of Garrett Bowles. Okay, you go get one of the best left tackles in the draft from Oregon who's coming out. Okay, you start rebuilding the trenches. Okay, that's what you need to do first.
That's what you need to do, not Elway.
This is what I would do if I was the GM. I would get rid of Josie Jewell-Alexander-Johnson, just wipe it clean. Okay, get Von Miller. I would try to get him back here, but he's gone. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we text behind the scenes, and he's been sending me these clips about how Von Miller's sick of this crap. So he's done. He's out of here. I would get rid of him. Try to get a second-round pick to be realistic. Try to get a first, or try to get a young player that can start at that position. Okay, so you do that. You build the trenches. You get defensive line in here that is young, that has potential, that knows the Vic Fangio. I'd like Vic. This is what I do. I let Vic Fangio handle the player personnel on the defense side of the football, because he obviously knows what he's doing on that side of the football. Now, what I would do, I'd bring in Adam Peters to be my right-hand man and help me out with the offensive side of the football. Help me get offensive line talent supplemented through the NFL draft and make smart free agent decisions. Get rid of Juwan James, cut him or trade him, get him off my team. Graham Glasgow, we're going to have to stick with him. So, yep.
Well, you know what? Graham Glasgow, you could make a backup. If you brought in a stud that can, or even if, because you can't alternate offensive linemen. It just doesn't work. But you could always make him the backup. But, there's too much ego there that'll never happen. But your right tackle is
you've got to get rid of it. You've got to get rid of Juwan James.
How did Dotson? Is it Dotson? Right tackle?
Yeah, he was active.
He was?
He was active. I saw him on the sideline.
Maybe
He
he's
started
not 100.
Anderson
Well, maybe he's not 100. That's one thing we don't know. He may not be 100%. We don't.
because he's like 35 years old.
Oh, is he? Okay, so yeah,
He's
so right
old.
tackle. Okay, right tackle needs to be addressed. So we know that
And
right
left
tackle
tackle
needs to be
because Garrett
addressed.
Bowles is gone.
Well, they'll keep Garrett Bowles.
Ah,
But you know what? This is what's. Let's talk about Garrett Bowles really quick. This is what's really John Elway's ego. He will open his pocketbook up and pay. Garrett Bowles is in a good situation for himself. You heard the announcers.
God.
Because left tackle is such a premium spot, you can be as bad as Garrett Bowles truly really is. And especially with the NFL taking it easy on offensive linemen now, Bowles does have a bargaining chip. That's
True.
just the reality. Whether what it doesn't matter what we think about him. So with John Elway's ego, he will pay Garrett Bowles a lot of money to be here. So that's going to tie up some cap money right there to keep Bowles here. His ego, you know that's going to happen. I mean, that's almost written in stone.
So okay. So this is where we're going to be at. Then you're going to have to make a decision. This is what I would do. You're going to pay Bowles or you're going to keep Juwan James. Those are the two decisions that you have to sit there and ask yourself, John Elway. So what would you do? I mean, honestly, I would get rid of Juwan James. Of how bad Garrett Bowles is, I'd get rid of Juwan James because he is an example of a John Elway pick and who cannot stay on the field. At least Garrett Bowles stays on the field. Of how bad he is, he stays on the field.
Yes. So you've got to spend time. This really what it boils down to. The Broncos need to get healthy. Their receivers healthy. Okay. Don't go running and get a quarterback. They've got to start building the lines. So basically, I guess what this is why everybody's talking quarterbacks. We're talking about let cooler heads prevail, and let's start building our lines. Get our lines built up.
Well, what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to go back and watch the All-22 film, and I'm going to go back and watch this game. I'm going to stay up late tonight. This is the night where I'm staying up late, and I'm going to watch both. I'm going to watch the Raider game, and I'm going to start segueing into the Dolphins game because I like to get ahead of it in case something happens, in case there's an injury or whatever. But today was a perfect example of how we were both right. We both said that they're going to run the football on us because our defensive line is trash. I said
linebacker isn't good either. Yeah.
Another thing, our linebackers stink on a weekly basis that nobody likes to talk about. The feel-good crowd, the feel-good media, and
Fangio's doing a great job with what he's got. You know, it could be a lot worse.
It'll be like 50-point games the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, Callahan literally single-handedly kept this game from 30-6 by the half.
And so did Bradley Chubb in a way. Bradley Chubb doesn't have to show up on the stat sheet, but he's impacting the game in a way that is helping the quarterback get off his spot. I know that he wasn't getting back there trying to get a sack, but he was getting back there causing a little bit of pressure for Carr to get off his spot a little bit. That made him misstep on a few throws there. Especially
so what you're saying is if we had some pressure up the middle, we'd really have something going.
No, we would have something going immediately.
That's what I'm getting at. Instead of all this quarterback nonsense, this is where the direction I feel we need to go. Yeah, and you talk about Chubb, and then we're talking about bringing somebody in the middle, and then you were going to say something about that.
No. So basically, what I mean by that is like, I was right on the whole Mike Purcell loss. I told everybody that was going to be a huge loss because he plugged up a lot of the A and B gaps on the defensive side of the football. Okay, he manded 2 people to block him because he's a big dude and he's a run stuffer. Okay, you have your run stuffer now. Bring back Shelby Harris. I wouldn't bring back Shelby Harris. He's 29, he's going 30. Defensive linemen don't last very long in the National Football League unless you're an Aaron Donald or Calais Campbell. With that being said, you have to go after guys that are young and have potential.
Philip Jordan.
You wanted Jacob Phillips.
Philip Jordan. Oh yeah, Jacob. Oh yeah, Jacob Phillips. Yes, Jacob Phillips.
Yep.
Yes.
Like I said, so the reality of the situation is we've been both right on this season. Well, you have been since day one. This is ultimately I'm not frustrated. I'm frustrated at the how much Elway has put a liquid on this and just burnt it to the ground. I'm sick of it. Elway needs to be held accountable. You won't hear that. Unfortunately, you won't hear that. So we have to continue to bring truth to this product. We have to continue to put it out here and be like, hey, this is the real problem. The only hope we have is 2022 and 2023. I'm looking forward to that. You are too. We both are. The reality of the situation is this team is going to be just like this for the next 2 years, and we're just going to have to accept it.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, it's so
Agreed.
get yourself prepared for it's the quarterback. Forget everything else that's going on with this team. So we're just going to have to stomach through that. Is that it's all got to be Locke. It couldn't be anything else. Please step back if you're smart and see that we've been saying this. Get a new quarterback for too long. That this team is yes, it's injured, but at the same time, the coaching is horrific, at least on the offensive side of the ball. You can say special teams is trash. The lines are trash. It's just, it's beyond the quarterback. That's all I'm going to have to put out. That's all I'm going to say. And go ahead and cap it.
This is the last point I'm going to bring up. Out of all the injured players on injured reserve, besides Cortland Sutton and Von Miller, who else would help us? Jarrell Casey wasn't doing anything.
No.
That's all I had to say to that.
Busby getting picked on the regular. I don't know why they were picking on Callahan, and they started to go after Busby, and they were having success. And then they went after Callahan. I thought that was really strange. I think they were really trying to be rubbing it into the Broncos, but then it was like, yeah, I guess we can't really get one over this guy. So
that's when they went to Boye's side and started picking on him because he sucks.
That's another one of those free agents that, again, who's going to come here, So we're stuck with who's going to come here. That's the reality. Oh, you can go get a new quarterback if you want, but who's going to come here?
And I'm excited for you to bring out the content about the two offensive lines, the difference in the third. I know which one you're going to talk about too. I can't wait for that too. That's footage that we need to put out too.
Yeah, I want to put out the showcase the blocking. Well, it's not just offensive line; it's the blocking schemes of both teams.
Well, especially late in the game.
Well, yes. Well, especially at the end where they're rushing three people.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're clogging all the lanes, but yet Locke is able to get the ball to these guys. If they could had even a moderate blocking scheme and moderate offensive blocking without Anderson or Bold screwing up, it would be nice. It would be nice. So it's just it is what it is, but it's what we said it was going to be. You said that
predicted it.
Yeah, well, no, you did, because I gave our offensive line even more credit. You said you can't give this offensive line any credit. They said the Raiders are still going to do what everybody else is doing. I thought this was the one break that they would get, and it worked out. They were doing fine maybe in the first quarter, but by the end of as we were getting towards half, they just couldn't hold up.
It was an avalanche that was coming for Locke.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just an avalanche.
Exactly, an avalanche coming for Locke.
Yep.
All right, let's wrap it up then, and we'll get into the breaking the fill down on another day.
All right, talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.